This is the segment Eat What You Want with Amy Crippen. And I have a question for you, Amy. So I've noticed, like I've been wanting to live the life I want, basically all my life. And I'm starting to see, that sometimes what I want is not necessarily the right place to look. um, and one of the things that I've noticed is that I've had a lot of stress in my life. And I was wondering if stress, well, it's almost kind of like a stupid question, like as I know, but I'm going to ask you to speak to it since you're like the nurse.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me a little bit like what the impact of stress has on us.
So it's interesting because the impact of stress is like multifactorial, right? And it's not really that the body can't withstand stress, it's prolonged periods of perceived stress. And so our hormones, our our neurotransmitters and stuff can kind of get off, different bodily functions kind of slow down in that process too, or speed up, just depending. Like adrenaline, can really like surge the body, and we can live off of that type of energy. And so the impact of stress is just so damaging on a cellular level if it's a prolonged period of time. And what we often don't talk about in stress management strategies is where the experience of stress is actually coming from, what's informing the body. We find that the stress is the work, the family. I have too many things on my plate. There's not enough of me, whatever the perceived stress is. It's not actually the thing. It's a state of mind. It's the rapid thoughts per minute. It's the experience mentally that we're having often. I mean, we're minusing like, in that conversation, we're not talking about like, trauma events or, other real things, just normal, like the thing that we think it's in the work. And so knowing that where stress comes from really helps you to manage, not manage, but to notice, like notice where your experience is coming from in the moment, and that it's within you, and it gives you an ability to settle down into that natural well-being, that natural state. When we notice it's not, we don't need to fix that I'm working long hours this week. We just need to settle ourselves so that we can work 12 hours this week, extra hours this week. Yeah. It doesn't help anything.
So I know that you talk a lot about mindful eating, and obviously this is the Eat What You Want segment, right? So like, what impact does stress have on our eating habits? Like if you're totally stressed and you're eating well, could that like just make no difference? Is there an impact there, or does like what can balance it basically?
Yeah. So to answer your first part of that question, our bodies need to feel safe to lose weight if that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
And under stress, your body doesn't feel safe, right? Because it's in a stressed mode. So our body's job is to conserve our fuel to the best that it can, and when we're in that state of stress, it doesn't feel comfortable to lose its survival mechanism, which is the fat storage that it's like kept for us to keep us alive, just in case we starve, And so that's probably the easiest way. And the reason why I was bringing in where stress comes from in that mindful eating is noticing also where our emotions and stress levels are. That's part of it too, right? because that's often a way where we feel the stress and we go to food for comfort, you know, like that emotional eating response.
I know
And
that.
yeah, and that's where that like being mindful of, well, where is the experience really coming from, tuning in, what type of hunger is this really, is it, am I just hungry for something because I think that's going to make me feel better. And if we have noticed in our own patterns and habits that eating that thing actually doesn't make me feel better, I feel full, I don't feel great, and then I have layered thoughts on top of that of why I ate that because it's not in alignment with my health values, then it's really, you know, noticing in the moment where tuning in, like what type of hunger is this right now, you know, and what actually seems like appropriate response for it.
Well, it's so funny because earlier I I left to I had an errand to run, and there was a $5 bill on my table, and I kind of like grabbed it and I said, I'm going to go get myself some cotton candy because I love cotton candy. And I have a story about cotton candy. You know, it's like my dad, when I was getting my ears pierced, he said, be a good girl, get your ears pierced, and I'm going to give you this cotton candy. But I didn't get my ears pierced. And he threw away the cotton candy. And I've been craving cotton candy. No, that's not true. That's kind of like the trauma of the cotton candy. I shouldn't eat it. And I was like, when I want to congratulate myself on something, or I feel bad, I want to make myself feel better, I just go get cotton candy. And I didn't. So yay me. So I
I
didn't do
love
it
that. Yeah.
because I was really, yeah, I was really like, well, I looked for it. I'm not going to lie. I did look for it, but I could have went to more stores, and I was like, it's okay. It's okay. I don't need it. You know, it's fine. Yeah, I love the taste of it. I love when it melts in my mouth, but you know, so, but I have to admit that 6 months ago, having not been in this conversation and looking towards the area of eating what I want, um, the way that I have lately, I would have found it, you know, and I would have done it, and I would have eaten my cotton candy. And I'm not saying I'm never going to eat cotton candy, because that's not possible.
Yeah. 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 And those are, see, that's where the noticing of it, like, is it in alignment with your health values, right? So eating cotton candy is not off the table for your health values, but also that mindful aspect is, you know, I'm sure you have other health values that you have and other health experience of a state of health that you would like to experience, right? And so it's both of those things. It's knowing that you can trust yourself.
Yeah.
You can trust yourself in that moment, you know, to make the decision that's in alignment with wherever you've been, you know, like, or wherever you are in that moment.
Yeah, I have to admit that, you know, I have noticed that after eating cotton candy lately, I haven't been, you know, oh, yay, you know. So that's probably it's probably was present also for me. It's not as satisfying as it used to be. And that's definitely an awareness, you know, instead of staying in my stress and in my thinking, I want cotton candy. And that's why I actually named the segment Eat What You Want. Like, I like that you did the mindful eating, but I was like, just like sometimes what we want is not necessarily what we want.
Yeah, it's not that came to mind too when you were telling the story. It's like, it's not actually what you really, really want,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because that's where knowing what your health values are and the health experience you want to have is really vital, because it gives you a little bit of an inner GPS towards making that choice, you know, when it pops up. And it seems like there's just this ever so gentle awareness that just pops in lots of times to keep us on track of those things, you know, that's just like, hey, mine is coffee. I'm really bad on coffee. I drink way too much coffee. And I've literally had wisdom pop in and like awareness be like, don't drink coffee. And I was like, fucking doing it. I'm just like,
I know.
I'm doing it. Like, and then I was like sitting there all anxious the rest of the day. I was like, I literally had like the most gentle cue not to do this thing, and I just didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
We have these like, we have this beautiful little guidance that just pops in with everyday ordinary things and extraordinary things too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Yes, of course.
Everybody, hope that, you know, you got something out of this, and Amy will be back for another segment in the next episode. So stay tuned. Amy, thank you. See you later.
You.
Bye.
Bye.